Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be something a bit different rather than pickups and etc, etc. Today's video is a movie marathon. Me and a good friend Randy Mole, we're going to have a day of horror movie watching. So we're going to chill out, watch a few films throughout the day, and as the day progresses we're going to give you our thoughts on the films. We've got 5 films scheduled for the day. We'll see how the day pans out, we get to watch it. And the 5 films scheduled for today are Freddy's Dead, Rogue, Sleepaway Camp 2, The Blob, and Street Trash. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
This is a bloody tidal river. Well, that's how high the tide will be when it comes in.
Right, welcome back everyone. Right, one movie
recording?
down. Yeah, we're recording.
Good.
We're live. We're
Hey!
not live. Right, one movie down. First one out of our movie marathon was Rogue. Right, Rogue is directed by Greg McLean.
Of Wolf Creek fame.
Wolf Creek
and
fame.
Wolf Creek 2 fame. And I don't know anything else he's done.
Yeah, I think that's about all we know. It's from 2006.
Which I think is crazy, because this film has not been out that long. It really hasn't. I want to say there was some sort of production issue going on with the Weinsteins and it got delayed. There's something like that happened. But this film has not been out for 10 years.
Well, reading the back. But yeah, never heard of it. Randy Molds, for part of the selection for today's movie marathon, chose this one. So kind of blind going into it. The only thing I knew about it, it's got crocodiles in it. So in essence, to summarise it, you can summarise, you're always better than me.
Group of people, band of people go on a tour, in the bush, goes a little bit astray. Good group of people, good
mixture of characters.
yeah,
different
really
backgrounds,
interesting characters. Yeah, there's a guy that's like. Are we allowed to see spoilers when we talk about these things?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, there'll be spoilers in this. So.
I really like there was a guy getting rid of his wife's ashes, but didn't want to say anything, and he didn't have to say. You know, at no point did they write in that he had to turn around and be like, "Oh, my wife's died." So no, it was all very subtle. There was a sort of
worked,
cancer
didn't it?
survivor.
Yeah, cancer. We're assuming cancer, but yeah, with the meds and stuff. Yeah.
Never openly said that too much, and yeah, good group. They go off on a tour that's been led by Rhonda Mitchell. I'm rubbish at names. Mitchell. She's in Neighbours.
Neighbours. I think she's in the Crazies remake.
Yes,
We were discussing that whilst watching it, so I think she's in that.
Photo booth.
Photo booth. Okay.
Phone booth.
Phone
Photo
booth.
booth. Photo booth.
Phone booth.
There's a new film.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Good film, that one. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
It is good. Yeah, and they go out on a little tour through the bush. There's reports in the area of giant crocs. There's like a guy that keeps like all these information and photos and cut-ins, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The daytime cinematography, it's like David Attenborough. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
It's really crisp. The Blu-ray watching it, it looked really nice.
The daytime stuff looked really
yeah,
crisp and really nice.
The nighttime stuff, especially, there's a bit later on in a tree cave layer thing, and that didn't
Tree cave layer thing.
That's what I'm summarising it to be, a tree cave layer thing. And as they're going down this river, they see a flare. Isn't a flare issued or something like that?
Yeah, they saw the flare. I didn't see the flare. Maybe I blinked.
We didn't see it. And so basically they have an agreement that they think there might be people in distress, so they go towards this flare, and then it goes...
Which is the right... There was a discussion. That was the right thing to do.
discussion.
You would want them to come and help you if you were setting off the flare. Yeah.
And then they find themselves in this situation, and the boat gets damaged. So we're getting spoilers here. The boat gets damaged, and it's kind of marooned onto this small island on the river.
Yeah.
And the damage caused to the boat was by the crocodile. So they're straight away, they're off the boat, they're on this island, and thinking, shit, there's this crocodile out there.
Very much... The Shallows is in the cinema at the minute. The local multiplex. Went to see it 2 nights ago, as it happens. Very much sets up like that, as in they're stuck on this very small island, and the tide's coming in, and the island's going to go underwater. They're not very far away from the main land, but this crocodile, he's a hungry bastard.
a hungry bastard, greedy
Anyone
bastard.
goes near that water and he's going to eat you. Put another person on the barbie. And it's very Australian. There are lots of Australian talks, lots of
Bastard.
bastards and lots of swearing, and you know
Yeah.
that's good.
If you're easily offended, don't watch it. And then really it's the story about how the group are to escape and get to land and ultimately get their freedom.
And I quite liked their ideas. We had a bit of a discussion as it was going on. We're like, oh, well, you know, actually, I think they could have just fucking swam for it to go through.
Just
But
jump in and leg it.
they came up with some different ideas about how to like catch it and some plans to maybe try and get away from it. Not to go into too many details to watch the film, but I believed them. I think it was actually quite well thought through.
Yeah, and we were discussing what we would do in that situation, and one of the things would be to try and trap it, and that's what they do ultimately towards
fishing.
the head. They go fishing with some ducks, shall we say? But yeah, what I quite liked about this is Sam Worthington's in this. So I think this is before his Avatar fame,
It was definitely filmed before Avatar, wasn't it?
and because I saw him as one of the big name actors in this, who I recognise, and Mia Wasikowska, bird out of Alice in Wonderland. She was in it as well. So you'll notice some people in it.
Terrible movie. Alice in Wonderland. Just put that out there.
Shit, yeah.
Terrible movie.
And
Love Tim Burton, but terrible movie.
he's killed off, Sam Worthington. Again, spoilers. And the way he was killed off was just, we both looked at each other and went, oh,
Is he dead?
right. Oh, okay. Moving on. But yeah, we'll summarise it all because we don't want to be gassing for ages because we've still got 4 more films to go through. So,
One down.
yep,
So that-
1 down. So,
I've
we're
been
going to
really
rate it.
practicing that.
You've been skilled. So our scoring system's out of 5. We've just had a discussion on how we're going to rate these films, and we've come to the conclusion or agreement that 3. All movies should be a 3.
All movies should be
Definitely.
3. Now, that was... I hate it when people rate things too much. So the standard is 3. You expect 3. 3 is you've watched the film, you've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You might want to watch it again. You might not want to watch it again, but it should be a 3. So 3 is the expected score. So if you get a 2, you're a bit below what you expected. If you get a 4, you're a bit above. And you wouldn't really expect many films to be a 5 or a 1. So 3 is the standard score.
So I'm going to go for 3. 3 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it. It's an hour and 32 minutes. It's still on pause now. Hour and 32 minutes gone. Enjoyed it. Good cast, good storyline, very simple, well built up. Good eclectic mix of characters, which I enjoyed in it. Would have preferred more practical effects, but we all know prices and all that bollocks now.
I didn't think the effects were bad. Again, having just seen The Shallows, I thought the crocodile in this was better than the shark in The Shallows.
The bit where the crocodile goes to the rock, it just doesn't look real. I know, but it looked really kind of. I didn't.
There were some practical effects. There were some good practical effects in this.
When
And
the crocodile
gore,
was still.
the bites and stuff, all the like.
good practical.
That was really good, really good.
Yeah.
So you're going for 3.
I'm giving Rogue a 3.
Now,
Andy Malt?
Now here's my issue. I don't think it knows quite what it wants to be. I think the good set of characters felt a bit like they were going for the Jaws idea. You know, we're not going to show you the crocodile for a bit. We're going to build up the characters, but it's not Jaws. You know, let's be honest. Very few things are. It was B-movie at the beginning, and then it tried to go a bit more art housey, cinema-y in a way, landscape, and I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed, and I recommended it. I asked to put this on the list today. I wanted a bit more. I wanted a bit more crocodile. I wanted a bit more killings. Not enough killings for me, and I can't. I don't think it was a good, solid horror, as in like mainstream horror, and I don't think it was a good B-movie horror like The Shallows, which I think is a B-movie horror, was very good. So I might say a 2.5.
All right.
Are we allowed halves? Have I just cheated? Have I wrecked my own system?
Uh,
We'll go 2.5. We'll allow 2.5.
we'll go 2.5. Right. Randy Mole 2.5. Jambo Shango 3. Right. So, next movie on the list. We've got 3 in front of us to pick from. So let's pick the next one now. So you guys know what's coming up next. We have
Deb Lub.
The Blob. Yeah, The Blob. Never seen it. Looking forward to this one. Again,
She's back. Nightmare Vacation 2.
AKA Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp 2. Street Trash. And Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which is
It's up there.
So,
Yeah. So, which one? I fancy Street Trash. I'm just putting it out there.
Let's do it.
Right,
Let's do it.
Street Trash.
Is,
Right.
this, is this a DVD?
Yeah.
Not a Blu-ray?
No, Arrow DVD.
Ah, Street Trash is.
Okay, so we'll see you all again soon with our thoughts on Street Trash.
Prepare for the molten hobo holocaust. I'm excited.
Right, see you later.
What you got for me today? Today? 10-4 Viper. $1.
Here's to you, pussy. Don't drink my Viper. Watch.
Street Trash.
Welcome back, everyone. Right, number 2 finished. Film 2 of the movie marathon. There we go. So 3 remaining, 2 down. Second movie of today was
Street Trash.
from 1987, directed by...
Oh God, his name was Jim Murrow. Jim Murrow. Supposedly, I'll be completely honest, I IMDb'd this. His name is James M. Murrow, but he directed this under Jim Murrow. Seems to be a camera operator on quite a lot of big films now, like from Titanic, Red Dragon, lots of things.
Right, okay.
Directed a lot of TV. Couldn't see any other films or anything.
Right, I think this was included today in our horror movie marathon. But I'm going to start off by saying, this ain't no horror. I didn't find it a horror at all. What about you?
Look, I get why it could appear in like some people's horror lists in the way. It's definitely horrific, but it isn't like a slasher film. It isn't like supernatural. It's just a bit of a mess, really.
I've got to say, the storyline makes no sense to me at all. It literally purely was this bloke, this liquor store owner, finds a crate of Viper liquor hidden in his wall, in his cellar.
Downstairs, behind the wall, there is an old box of alcohol with a label that looks brand new.
Viper. So he brings it up to the store and sells it for $1 a bottle
But to the street trash, the bums.
to the bums.
Now, this town has the worst case of homeless bums ever, and no one seems to give a fuck.
No, they're just everywhere. Just
The police want to like interview him and arrest him, but they're like, "But I have no reason to do it, even though he has a knife made out of a human leg." It's like,
leave him alone.
they don't normally do anything wrong, but they killed someone today by smashing his head through a windscreen. You know, I think you've got cause to do something here, but
Yeah. So again, plot all over the place. So it sets up. First act is they start selling liquor. People start melting.
that's good.
Yeah, practical
That's
effect wise,
good.
fantastic.
The ghost note.
Yeah, practical effects. Got to say, really, really impressed with it. Especially the first opening scene where the bloke melts down the toilet. So yeah, really impressed with that. And then the second act, if you want, the middle portion was all about
Talking.
what was it about?
No, Vietnam
Vietnam
flashback. There was a lot of talking in this film, and not talking as in it was boring and they talked too much. There was a lot of talking, and the script, I guess, it was cleverly written to get in
witty,
lots of brilliant one-liners.
Yeah, full of one-liners. There's some real good one-liners.
I read like old people fuck.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? What,
It should be slow.
Not very often. Only after Viagra.
Get it up. Who knows? Who knows? If you know, let us know in the comments. Right.
But there was a lot of talking that I couldn't actually hear and made no sense.
No.
They were talking about nothing.
No. Some scenes were just like no clue what they're saying, what was the purpose of the dialogue, etc. So, I'm going to quickly sum this up so we can move on number 2. I'm going to give this Street Trash 2 out of 5. 1 for charm, because it has a real charm throughout it.
You said it part way in, and I absolutely agree. There's a real charm about this film. The music,
Yeah,
the look,
score.
the fact it's obviously filmed on film. I was saying it reminded me of when I was a kid. There was like some guy that drove around in an old car and used to like rent you VHS out of his boot, and that's where when I first saw films like Critters and Troll 2 and stuff like that, and it has that charm about it that it falls into that. It says in the making of book that came along with it, I was just having a look, it said like, whatever you think about this film, you will not see films like this again.
No.
And I sort of believe that.
Hits the nail on the head there. Reminds me very much of a Troma style film.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm going to agree with your 2 stars. And I think that was its strength and its weakness. The beginning and the end, where it was about the melty stuff and it was
It's
quite
probably
traumatic.
about 50 minutes. Well, yeah, about
Cut the
40
middle
minutes,
hour
yeah.
out, you've probably got a good half an
Yeah.
hour. The trauma side of it was quite good. The not trauma, there was the ending of the Terminator? There was like an end.
You reminded you of the Terminator. You were going, what the fuck? This is Terminator. The music, the way it was played out, the chase, and the tension. Well, tension, if you can call that. But
It
yeah.
wasn't witty enough to be a trauma film.
No. Definitely not. But yeah, 2 stars for me. 1 for charm, 1 for practical effects. And
I'd agree with that.
so
Exact
that's where
same
we are.
reason. 2 stars.
2
So,
stars. So,
next movie,
which one are we going for? That one, right. So number 3 of the day.
she's back. Nightmare Vacation 2, otherwise known as...
Sleepaway Camp 2. So, we'll be back after this and let you know our thoughts. See you in a bit.
Get ready for gore galore.
There used to be this camp about 60 miles from here. Camp Arawak. All these kids started getting killed. Well, it ended up that the killer was the shy 14-year-old girl that everybody picked on. Except she wasn't...
Phoebe, you're supposed to be in the cabin. Let's go.
Wait, what happened to the killer?
Hello everyone, welcome back. Well, actually, you're still watching this. I'm just cutting it. But anyway,
Where have you been?
just finished watching Sleepaway Camp 2, aka Nightmare Vacation
2.
Unhappy Campers 2. Yeah. So anyway, this is the story about Angela.
Can I just stop a second? We said that we needed to mention ages ago, which was probably only like a minute ago for you, we were talking about street trash.
Yes.
So much of it we didn't talk about because we felt like we had to hurry up for some reason. And I just want to do a shout out for the greatest American football played with a penis scene ever
Yep.
put on celluloid that was in Street Trash. If you've not seen it, it's worth watching for that reason. And if you have seen it, you probably thought, why the fuck didn't we mention that scene?
Yeah.
So it was great. It was great.
Good.
Any given Sunday, maybe.
Right, so back to this. Back to Sleepaway Camp 2. Angela returns to Camp Rolling Hills to seek vengeance on all campers who don't keep their panties on.
Immoral campers? She doesn't like
Immoral
the-
campers,
basically, because she was a virgin. Now, this interestingly, sort of, I don't know where this fits into that genre, but this was definitely that immoral people will die. And this
Yeah.
is back in 1988.
Is it? 1988, is it?
Well, I'm guessing 88 from this sleeve here, this bit here.
That's the company.
88, 1988.
Oh yeah, true. 1988 released a
And I want to just, right, this box is great, the split cover, and I want to show this cover for a second. Right, now, I have been desperate to watch this film since I was a kid, because I remember this VHS box in, like,
that dodgy man's boot of his car. He
no, only threw me in the boot. So what's...
Come here, boy.
Let me out! No, from, like, you know...
Foreign video, shit.
Foreign
like that.
video, Mel and Pop video shop, if you want to call it that. And I think I even remember it from Blockbuster Video when that first sort of came rolling into town, before it quickly rolled out of town. So I've been desperate to watch this because look at this. She's got a chainsaw, she's got a hockey mask, she's got a Freddy Krueger glove, and then this is the cover that you chose for the flip side. But, you know, this film is a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's shocking, it really is. And shocking is probably a good word to continue here. The film is shocking. It is pointless. I said halfway through, I turned around and I said, this is just pointless. There's no tension. You know who the killer
There
is.
is no
straight from the
tension.
beginning.
There is no tension.
It's just... Oh,
That was more tense than anything that happened in it. It was like...
yeah, it was. Even the scenes weren't really... Even the kill scenes were very, very tame. Because you said, without the boobs, you would have given it a PG.
Well, yeah, I mean, weirdly, there's quite a lot. Well, not weirdly to have lots of boobs. I mean, that's always a positive, I suppose.
Kind of
But weirdly, they seem to throw in quite a lot of sex and quite risky sex for an 80s film as well. You know, oral sex scenes and all this sort of stuff going on. But without that, and I did say that before the ending. In the ending, they upped the gore a little bit more. You know, there was some good ideas. Death by turd.
And leeches, turd and leech.
Turd and leeches, be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah. Death by power drill to the face in the car. And why in a car? It just gets it everywhere.
Was this film a spoof? I think
I said
you
it's a
said
parody
it.
of itself. Sort of.
Now, that's interesting because the first Sleepaway Camp I think is really good. I really like it. I
We
like
both
it.
watched it I watched it last week in preparation for today, and I thought the first one was a real solid film, and the ending scene with Angela or Peter, whatever the bloody name he was, great end scene. But this one, it was just nothing like.
See, if it was a parody of itself, then this is no Evil Dead 2 to the Evil Dead, is it?
True.
Let's be honest, it is not that. I don't know. Is it a comedy? We laughed, but I think we laughed at points we weren't supposed to be laughing at.
Yes, we did.
And we did laugh at some of the points we were meant to be laughing
We
at.
laughed at some of her lines.
And outside there was a storm partway through, so that sort of added a bit of tension, maybe.
So, to wrap it up then, Sleepaway Camp 2. I won't recommend it if you haven't seen the first. To be honest, I'm not going to recommend it, but if we're going to give it a scoring system, keep it along the tracks we're going with, I'm going for 2 out of 5 for Sleepaway Camp 2.
Now, when you said that to me just before we started, I think that's a 2 out of 5. I was like, no way, because this is not as good as, it's not as good as Street Trash. It's not as good as Rogue. However, we established a 3-star was an average film, so
Down the middle, yeah.
and 1 would be awful and 5 would be amazing. It's not awful.
It's not awful. It was, what is it, 80 odd minutes?
Yeah.
Approximately time 80 minutes.
So yeah, I agree 2 stars. I'm happy I've watched it. I'm not going to tell any of the viewers out here that they should be going and watching it.
Yeah, we're not going to buy it now.
Yeah, there is definitely better things to do for 80 minutes than watch this, but
Cut the
there's
long.
worse things to do.
There is. If you want to pass 80 minutes with your mate and watch a film, go watch it. Right, so next up is...
It's the film De Blob, which probably better known as The Blob.
The Blob, yeah. So really looking forward to seeing this. It's got kind of a, would you say, a cult status? Or...
This is the film that brought us on to doing this movie-a-thon today because I've never seen this and I'm a big horror fan and you've never seen it and you're a big horror fan, so you got it on Blu-ray from Germany, I'm guessing.
the Germans
De Blob.
media book, yeah.
So this started off the whole thing of, well, maybe we should make a day and watch it, so this is coming up next. But we are going to get some food on us and make ourselves look a bit more like blobs by eating lots of food
Yeah.
to give us some energy.
So we'll be back in, probably to you lot, in about 10 seconds, but for us in a couple of hours.
Yeah. Films down. Pew, pew, pew. 2 left.
2 left. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace out.
The organism is growing at a geometric rate. By all accounts, it's at least 1,000 times its original mass.
The Blob. Terror has no shape.
Hello, right. Film 4, done, dusted. Film
Oh, maybe we should machine gun that.
Film 4 was The Blob, or De Blob. Right, this is from 1988, directed by Chuck Russell.
Chuck Russell, the legend that made A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, one of my personal favourite Freddy entries.
I think the best of the series, and produced by Frank Darabont. Is that how you pronounce his surname? From Walking Dead fame.
And also from...
The Mist.
Well, yeah, I was going to go back and say Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, but there you go.
All right,
He's
there
done
we
a
go.
few films you might have heard
Yeah,
of.
he's quite famous, that bloke. Anyway.
Shawshank, Green Mile.
Yeah, just a few. Right, so I suppose the premise of the film is that a suspected meteorite crash lands, and a
Jelly.
pink
Silly pussy.
substance escapes this meteorite and goes on a killing rampage. I think that's the best way to describe
Some
it.
pissed off silly putty.
Some pissed off silly putty. And as the story progresses, you actually find out, again, spoilers here, we will talk about spoilers, that actually this meteorite was not actually a meteorite, it was a US biological weapon.
It was a test of a biological weapon so that America could have a weapon better than the Russians. Because that was still a big deal in 1988.
Yep.
Now it'd be like, we need a weapon to fight against ISIS or something.
Something like that, yeah. So, yeah, it crashes, this pissed off putty gets out, goes on a killing rampage. You get your typical badass rebel
Yeah, oh,
High
he was
School
awesome.
Rebel.
Seriously, Kevin Dillon, who is just like angry Kevin Bacon, if you ask me.
Kevin Bacon,
He is.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was great. I liked him. I liked his face. He did look like a vampire or a 19th century Nancy. Dandy, not Nancy, a dandy.
He looked like he just walked off the set of Lost Boys.
He did. I think he was the bad guy from Fright Night. The guy who walks around eating apples.
Yeah, with a knife. Or was it his finger now? I can't remember now. I only watched that. Anyway. So yeah, story progresses as a typical heroin distress.
Every
Takes
cliche
over, and it kind
from
of
those
turns
films.
into like a survival adventure movie, doesn't it, to a certain extent?
Yeah.
And then the military, or shall we say the US government, comes in and tries to contain this escaped, pissed off putty.
Yeah,
And
they're going to
then-
contain it in the sewers.
Yeah, and then they try to contain it in the sewers, and it kind of doesn't really happen. And the way they defeat it is by a big ice maker truck.
Yeah, it doesn't like the cold. It's like an old lady. It doesn't like the cold.
It doesn't like the cold, no.
Yeah. Now, it is very cliched. You know, we've not seen this film, and
No,
we know
first time
lots
tonight.
of horror
First time.
fans hold it in a very high regard, and I get that. And you know, horror has a nostalgia when you first watch something. Like I could talk all day about how Lost Boys is one of the greatest films ever made, and I bet people would watch it now and be like, "What, really?"
Oh, yeah.
But it's good. It's a
Yeah.
good movie.
It's
a
got
good
like
watch.
a cult classic status from like the drive-in era
Yeah.
in the late 80s, isn't it? I've got to say, you know, this was probably I think we planned this to be our headline movie of the night. And we
It was the
decided
main
not
event,
to-
really,
yeah.
wasn't it? It was the main event.
We decided not to go. We're actually going with Freddy's Dead for our penultimate film.
Now, this was the penultimate. That's
Yeah.
so far. Penultimate's a weird word.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
But I've got to say, I mean, it's an hour and 30 minutes, like most films we've watched today, 90 minutes, and yeah, enjoyed it. Great practical effects in
Yes.
there, which was great.
Some showing their age, but some still
Yeah,
great, gorgeous to look at.
But
Some-
it's nice to see
Miniatures,
even
stop
aged
motion.
practical effects. And there were some scenes, especially the bird from Under Siege, shut the music off. You know what I mean if you've seen the
yeah.
film. And that practical effect, it's right there on the back. You can just see it. I don't know if you can see where she goes a bit crazy and the face comes to
The
bits.
melty faces, it owes a lot to the thing. But
Yeah, it
it's
does.
and even the music, it's sort of like it knows it's using things from the thing, and not as well. I mean, it doesn't do those sort of melty face things as well as the thing.
No, it doesn't.
Whereas the thing feels like a more adult horror movie. This does feel like aimed at a slightly younger
Yeah,
audience.
teenage.
Yeah,
I
it sort of
can
fits
see
that
this.
bracket.
Yeah, it does.
But good film.
Enjoyable,
Enjoyed it.
good film. I expected more. I've got to admit it. I expected, you know, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of love for this film out in the horror community, if you want to call it that. And I wasn't completely blown away. I was, enjoyed it. Will I watch it again? Yes. So I'm going to give that. On that note, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Just good.
I completely agree. It's slap bang in the middle. It does what it needed to do. It didn't push it any further. It wasn't bad. There was nothing wrong with it. It was great, but it didn't do for me what I think it's done for other people. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I've watched it. I could tick it off my horror film bucket list of films that I've not seen. But I don't know. It wasn't.
It wasn't. Oh, yeah. We recently watched, a couple of weeks ago, watched Life Force. For
Yes,
the first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
We finished that and was like, man, that was great. That was great Toby Hooper movie. But yeah, anyway, we're going to wrap it up with The Blob, and we're going to watch for our final film of this.
It's disappeared.
Is Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's Dead, yes. So we're going to... yeah, that's scary, isn't it? We're watching Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Now, you don't think you've ever seen Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare?
No, I haven't.
Now, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare was the first Nightmare on Elm Street film I saw, Freddy film that I saw. I've seen it a couple of times, but I have not seen it since being a youth. Like, literally, I'm talking about 15, 16 years, probably, where I've seen all the others again, but I've never rewatched that one.
So it could be up to 20 years.
How old do you think I am?
Yeah, we're old bastards, we are. Anyway, enough about how old this.
What was it? I read like old bastards book.
Yeah, something like that.
Same from Street Trash.
Yeah, you'll know what we're talking about. It was hours ago since we said that, but anyway. Right, we'll be back after watching this. Peace.
Oh, shit, Spencer! Come on, John. Get out of here now, please. Now.
Hey, you forgot the power glove! Ow! Boing, boing, boing.
Be like me, be like me, be like me, be like me, be like me. Spencer!
What do you know? I beat my high score.
Hello, everyone. Right, we made it. We're down, we're done, we're dusted.
5 movies, 1 day, 1 kebab.
Chips.
I'm just going to put out there, it's a new world record for me. I've done 4 movies in a day, Fright Fest a couple of years back. I've never done 5 in a day. We've just done 5 movies in 10 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I'm going to say that's my record as well. I can't remember any other time where I've watched that many movies back to back. Literally one after the other one when we nipped out for a kebab. So, last one was Freddy's Dead.
The final nightmare. Final sort of, not quite.
Final nightmare, which wasn't. First time I've seen this from start to finish. There were some scenes in it with the hearing aid kill, which I did remember. So
it's a great kill. It is
really good.
A great kill. It's probably the best scene of that film.
I would say definitely the best scene. So I remember that scene. So I must have seen the film. Or parts of the film. It was okay. It was okay. It was all right. I didn't, it wasn't anything special. It wasn't great.
I think I liked it more than you.
You did.
No, but I suppose I have a slight bias because where we have like our favourite horror icons, so Freddy Krueger is my favourite one, but that film was the film I've never revisited because I remembered as a kid enjoying it and then watching it again and not enjoying it as much. And I know like when everyone talks about it, it's sort of seen that number 2 as sort of seen the worst in the franchise. And I think, yeah, that's probably rightly so. But I think there's a lot to enjoy in it. I think... first of all, the soundtracks are awesome.
Yeah, great soundtrack. Yeah.
Secondly, Alice Cooper is Freddy's dad.
Yes.
I mean, that rocks.
Yeah.
Some great practical effect scenes and some great early CGI usage. But you have to let yourself go by this point. You have to accept that Freddy is a cartoon character at this point. Because that's what he is.
I understand that point of view, definitely.
Some great homages thrown in there. There was a Twilight Zone at the middle and at the beginning of the film. Wizard of Oz themes kind of keeps coming back throughout.
What I did quite like about it is it sets you up from the very start with the opening plane sequence. There's a young lad in it, and it sets the tone that he's the main character, main person in the film. And then I don't know, an hour in, 50 minutes in, he's gone.
That's actually been a theme with a lot of the films we've watched today, that the main character dies, or who you think is going to be the main character dies.
Yeah, it's been quite strange, that. Right then, so I'm going to give, for my score, Freddy's Dead 2 out of 5.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, quite low.
See, I think I'd go higher than that. I think I'd maybe go 3, but I've got a little bit of love for Freddy in there, so it's more of a 2.5. 2.5 for me. 2.5, 3. I will watch it again at some point. I've not watched it for like 16 years or whatever, and I thought I don't want to watch it now. I think actually I'd watch that film again.
Okay, so what are you going for? 2.5, 3.
2, but I'm gonna go I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go, it did what it needed to do. 3 was what we said was a film should be 3 stars.
Okay.
Weirdly, though, I'm kind of reassessing some of my other stars of other films from earlier.
Right, well, what we're going to do now is I'm going to run down. So we watched 5 films today.
5 films!
5 films, 10 hours, and a sore ass.
I did nothing to contribute towards that.
I'm going to rate them. Right, I'm going to go quickly. I'm going to go from bottom to top. Freddy's Dead comes in at number 5.
Seriously?
Seriously.
I think you're wrong, Jeff Wong.
Sleepaway Camp 2. 4. Street Trash 3. Road 2. Blob Uno. Yeah, that's my top 5. That's my rankings today.
Alright, I'm going to re-rank that. I'm going to give him a shuffle. I'm going to say my bottom was Nightmare Vacation 2.
Or whatever it's
That's it.
called.
That's my worst. Then I'm going to go Street Trash. Although we were talking about earlier saying, I'll probably never watch these films again, but all of a sudden now I've got them in my hand and I've watched like 3 films since. I'm thinking, God, stick this one back on. I want to watch this again.
I'd watch Street Trash again. If I had to choose out of them 2, I'll put that one. That's
5, 4. I'm going to go 3, which is controversial because I scored it higher than my number 2, which I actually gave 2.5 stars for.
Did you?
Yeah, I said 2.5. But I'm thinking I was wrong. I don't know. I think because it kicked us off and I was the one that put that one in, I wanted Rogue to be a bit better. But
You did.
yeah, I think it just needed a few more kills in it. But I think we're both in agreement that the film of the day was The Blob.
Certainly, certainly.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Right, something a bit different for the channel. But anyway, if you stayed with us through that video, thank you.
For them, the video is probably like 10 minutes. For us, 10 hours.
10 long hours. But anyway, if you did stick through it, thank you very much for watching. And we'll be back again maybe one day with more reviews.
Yeah, I mean, if people liked it, let us know. We tried something a bit different.
Certainly. So from me, Jambo Shango.
For me, the Randy Mole.
We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Peace.